Yeah.
It's Dave Johal once again for Punch Out Boxing. Please be joined by a friend of the show, Johnny Clark from Top Tier Promotions. How are you, Johnny?
Yeah, I'm very good, mate. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. A few days before Christmas, a few days before your show as well. You're going to go established over in Brentwood.
hmm
Tell us a bit more about it.
Yeah, so established by name, established by nature. We really pushed the boundaries on this one. Spent a lot of money, profit from previous shows, and we went all in. And glad to see everything's moving correctly. And we're going to put on the best show we've done so far.
Absolutely brilliant. I mean, we've already reached out to Jack Martin, awaiting to hear back from CJ Challenger as well. You've got some mouth-watering clashes. Which ones are you looking forward to?
Yeah, obviously the three titles, they're going to be the best. There's something on the line. You've got the local derby with Ozzy Osbourne and George O'Leary, two local lads that was fighting down the road on unlicensed shows, not against each other though. And then they both turned pro roughly around the same time, and now they're fighting for a silver Commonwealth. So it's quite a nice story, and hopefully, they get on, win on my show, and get to win the gold Commonwealth, and go out right for it. So yeah.
And
Oh,
and the names of your shows as well. I mean, this one's called Established.
yeah,
Talk to us about the journey of the trilogy of the shows in terms of the naming of them. So this one, you were clear you're going to call this one Established.
yeah. So the first one was a statement. So I wanted to come out and make a statement. And then after the statement, we needed to build momentum. So yeah, the momentum was clearly built, but then I never really had too much stress with the first two shows, as in pullouts. But then I had a lot of pullouts, and it was called resilience. So we had to get through that. Let's be honest, this one's been just as bad, with injuries and bad luck. But I knew that now, with a good solid year in, we was established as a small hall show, one that everyone knows about, quite talks about. The followers have gone up, the views have gone up, and I was quite happy with how it all been. So to end the year with a show called Established, I thought was very fitting. And yeah, we're ready to sign off with a bang and start 2024 with a bigger bang.
I mean, the show as well. You've got George Groves doing the commentary. How did that one come about?
Yeah, just he's had friends fight on the show. He's obviously seen the show, and then I messaged him and I invited him down to do comms. Obviously, it is his job as well, and it's nice. All the boxers get a buzz out of it. They've all messaged me. Oh, I wish I was on that show and he was commentating with me on this one. Um, Boxers that are fighting on the show are happy that he's commentating on their fight. So yeah, actually didn't realise how much a commentator means to a boxer. Because they're all they got the loads of likes straight away, loads of phone calls. I had 3 phone calls in 5 minutes about it, and I was like, oh, didn't realise everyone was that fixated on him. But yeah, I'm happy he's on.
I mean, last day at the media event, I think it was a few months ago. Rashid just came back raw for everyone else. Who
Yeah,
knows him from Punch Out Boxing, came back from the Usyk versus Dubois fight. Came
yeah,
down to get off Stanford, came to see you, and there was a bit of a ruckus, wasn't there, at the press
yeah,
conference?
yeah.
How did you manage to dampen those fires?
I had Abdul with me, so he sorted it out. Big Abdul, no one gets through him. But the problem with that is it was a bit pantomime. Like there was a couple push and pulls, George Gross. But it was not necessarily. Like I've always said, I'd like a bit of hype around the shows. That would be nice. But the people doing the arguing, they haven't ended up fighting, and that's the more annoying thing for me.
Mm,
Like two of the people arguing weren't fighting each other. They were trying to fight each other on the next show. And then both their opponents dropped out. And one of them, Thomas Galbraith, said, let's fight Angelo then, you know, um, give them the rounds they wanted. But he wasn't training for Thomas and it was only 2 weeks. So they turned it down, which it did upset me a bit because they was happy enough to argue. To do it paid in a ring, they're not. So it did wind me up a bit, to be honest with you. But then Angelo's now injured anyway, and he's out. So yeah, it's a crazy story with them. And then because they weren't going to fight each other, they both had a journeyman booked. and then Angelo's journeyman had a winning record, and Thomas's didn't. So when Angelo's opponent drops out, Thomas took his opponent. So it's literally been a crazy whirlwind. But I'm just glad that Thomas, who's always been there accepting all challenges, got to be on the show and get his record up, and hopefully he can get a title on the next show.
I mean, these are the perils of any promoter.
Yeah.
When you went round Eddie's gas a few months ago, what kind of stuff were you talking to him about, and just sharing that experience? Because being involved with one of the biggest promoters in the world, should we just say, you were invited in, and during the Matchroom Summer Barbecue, what kind of advice was he giving you, Johnny?
No, to be fair, we didn't really talk much. He just asked how my shows are getting on, the stress and whatnot that comes with it. But he was signing a Let's Go boxer at the time, so I was just there to watch, really. But I have been in contact with him since, and like my wife was in labour, I listened to his audio book, and then I messaged him and I said I felt like he was talking to me. Like when I listened to the book, I felt like he was talking to me. Every bit of advice, everything he was telling people about business, about promoting, I felt like it was aimed at me. And then I was listening to it, I thought, I just didn't think it would be like this. I thought it'd just be a biography, but it's not. It's telling someone how to do it, really. And I was taking it all in. His first ever job was telesales. I've got two telesales companies. So it was crazy to think he worked on the phone where I worked. He would be booking me a lead to go and sit in a house. I would have been on a bigger payday than him, and it was crazy to think he's gone from that, like someone working in my office basically would have been, to where he is now. And I thought it is that easy to be done if you've got the passion, the drive, the process, the plans. And I thought, wow, so I feel like, I know I'm never going to be as big as Eddie Hearn, but I feel like I can do something good in this sport, because everything he was saying, I think, yep, I do that. I'm definitely like that. He don't switch off, relentless, same as me. Even while we was going to start this, I'm texting back a boxer quickly to make sure he's all right. He can't sleep until something's done. I see very similarities with him. He's where he trains in Absolute Gym. He's Brentwood. I'm Grays. It's like parallel. Like he's obviously like really the posher side of Essex, and I'm the other side. But we got the same vision, goals, and he didn't start out on the posher side with his work. That's what I realised from his book. He got pushed in the deep end. No, you're not Barry Hearn's son. You go and graft, and he graft the way that I would have to graft. And I respect him massively. And then I wrote to him to say that before this actual phone call, he put a quote up, and I said, 100%. I've listened to your audio book through the whole of my wife's pregnancy. I thought you felt like you was talking to me, and I really did learn a lot from it. And I think it's great from the telesales to where you've got. And I tried to get the wife to listen to it, but she wasn't in the mood. And then he wrote a nice message back.
Yeah,
and then then we signed off there. She said, "Good luck for your show on Saturday." So it's nice to know that people are watching, taking note, and encouragement. So it's very nice. And obviously, he ain't got to worry about me. I'm not on his level. I'm getting people ready to be on shows like his. You know what I mean? So he does really need people like me who aren't ex-Olympians. Like the Josh Warren and the Lee Woods. They'll come through shows like mine, won't they? They end up with shows like his. That's the route, isn't it? All the Olympians or amateur standout stars, they're not going to be on my shows. They're going to be on his. But there's other boxers that can be world champions that need a route. And that's my role in the game, to get them ready for people like him. So, it's nice to see he's looking and probably thinking that as well.
No, absolutely. The part that resonated with me in the book as well was during the COVID part, where there was the Indian restaurant and the other one that was up the road, and one took it upon themselves to do marketing in a different way. I don't know if you remember that part. And one went out of business and one's still there. So things like that, they all resonate, and you can use these things in everyday life as well, if you're a boxing fighter, which is quite good. So we're in December now, Johnny. Next year, you've clearly got a busy schedule as well, haven't you? So when does the top tier show start for 2024?
February the 10th. But like I said, I've always said I've got a big haul mentality. And like you said about marketing, some foul, some don't. It's how you do it. and then watching the big boys and how they promote, open media days, media workouts, pad sessions. So I've hired Lakeside Shopping Centre in January. So as soon as Santa Claus goes out the middle of Lakeside, my boxing ring's going to go up. And then in that ring, we'll have like a pad session for each of the boxers. My media day will be held there. Get the most of it. It costs a lot of money. So I've got to get the most of the space, get some good footage. And it'll be nice for the boxers to feel like that's a big show feel, and that's what I want to do. I want to put it out there as a big show in a small hall. And that means not taking profit, sticking everything back into the company and building it. And believe me, I've had 3 very interesting phone calls on where the company can end up. So, yeah, it's just about making sure I ride this wave while it's here and getting the most out of it for the company.
Absolutely brilliant. This show is going to be on Sky as well, isn't it? Is it Aztec TV?
AOZat, yeah. So they actually double booked my show with a darts competition. And at first I was fuming, to be fair. And yeah, we tried getting it over channels quickly, but that didn't work. But then it's still going to be on Sky, but live footage will be on their app, because what they've got is an app and a channel. So we'll be on their app going live, and then next Saturday it'll be a full replay of the show on Sky. So all the sponsors can still be happy, and also all the boxers still get to say their thought on Sky, and I get to say as well.
Absolutely, we'll get the links of that. So yeah, just remind people where they can watch that afterwards. So just yeah, if you WhatsApp me that, I'll put it in the interview. But Riyadh season's coming up as well. Just wanted your opinion. I mean, it's a massive season. 23rd of December. You've got almost every heavyweight under the sun there, apart from the main. Should we just say the big two, Fury and Usyk, which is going to be February the 17th next year. But how do you assess fights like AJ versus Wallin, Deontay Wilder versus Parker, and also Dubois versus Miller? How do you assess those fights? Because they're massive, aren't they, still in the sport?
I'd say they're massive, but if I'm being honest, if you're betting on them, it's very one-sided betting. Do you think? Like if you put on money, you're not going to get a big return if you put your money on all the blue corner. But I think it's very good. It's a builder for me. It's a show that's grabbed everyone's attention. But the next show for me will be the big one that they do. So this one it's like a semi-final really, or quarter-final, and they're going to keep putting people against each other. I think it's great. And obviously people say, oh, it's nice to see everyone working together. Well, it takes money to do that, and everyone's got to get a fair slice of the money. And no one in England, I think, could afford to do that today. So it is what it is. But I do believe it's better than Misfits. So I'd rather watch that. And I hope that, Misfits is good for what it is. But for me, the real boxing fans need to get behind boxing and push it more. So get the views up for them, go and see the shows, go from the first bell to the last bell. And a card like what you see there in Riyadh, that's definitely a card where I go from the first bell to the last bell, because they're all great fights, great names in great fights. So as long as they do the build-up right and the marketing right, as you keep talking about, then I should imagine that this could be a good kickstart for boxing to end the year and start the next one with a massive bang. As long as they keep this going up and it's not just 1 or 2 as a phase, then I think we could be on to the next step in boxing, if I'm being honest.
And what about the big one next year, Fury versus Usyk? Do you see Fury winning that, or do you think Usyk wins?
Yeah,
what's your assessment?
I think Fury wins it, and if I'm being honest, I think he had a bad night in the office, and then everyone's going to slag him off because boxing is like that. But you'll see the best Tyson Fury against Usyk. You're never going to see the best Tyson Fury versus a UFC champion. But trust me, if I had to fight one of them two, Fury or Ngannou, I think I'll choose Fury. So, I'm telling you now that people are always going to underestimate Tyson Fury, but he always comes through, So for me, I think he wins that. I don't think he stops him. I do think it's keeping it range boxing, but yeah, I think I'm going to go to that one as well. I'm I'm on holiday at the time with my wife and newborn, and I've got a green light, so I can pop over to Saudi and back. So we're in Dubai, and so I've lined it up. But I'll be honest, I don't trust the fight yet. If I'm being honest, I know that sounds crazy, but I don't trust that it's 100. But as soon as I'm watching it, see a bit more build up, then I'll buy a ticket.
Yeah, just hold on to that. Very finally as well, can people still get tickets for established
Yep, yep,
on Saturday?
yep. So this year it's been all about the boxers. You just go and see the boxers for tickets. People message me, I ask them where they're from, and then I send them directly to a boxer that's down the road to them, basically. Um, Further than that, there'll be tickets on the door because we had, like I said, excuse me, 3 or 4 pullouts. So yeah, so there'll be tickets on the door, or if they message me, I'll give them to their local boxer because I want the boxer to get paid. As simple as that, you know. And if I said you know, 2 or 3 tickets, a that gets them their food through camp, you know, so it helps them
Yeah,
out. So I'll try and help them as much as I can.
absolutely brilliant. Johnny, all the best from Punch Out Boxing, mate. Good luck on Saturday night as always. Good luck
Yep,
in
thank you
your
very much.
personal ventures as well, and we will be in touch, mate.
Yep, thank you very much, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for that.
Yes, that's all right.